we're going to shift to Peterborough, where the longtime voice on radio and now television on your TV, Pete Daliday, is standing by as he is joining us. And I would feel surprised. Okay, there's Pete out, and it looks like he's out in the wilderness. Pete, I figured I'd be pulling you off a golf course today.
No, Terry, I got played yesterday. I played with Ian Armstrong, a former Peterborough Pete who now works for the Petes a little bit on the education side. That's how we spent sort of the day getting ready for the opening rounds last night. So got it in yesterday and just got off a nice bike ride this morning on the beautiful trails that we have here in Peterborough. So good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you as well. All right, how old are you feeling today that Mike Martone's son was chosen last night in the OHL priority selection?
Yeah, pretty old. I mean, he's the same age as my youngest son. They're actually, I think, friends and stuff. So it was great to see Porter go. But as you know, I mean, you're around on that 1996 team when Mike Martone scored the overtime goal in Guelph in Game 7 to win the Pete's the OHL championship. And yeah, I mean, I was 26, 25 at that time, I guess. And so pretty close to the same age as that kind of group of guys. So to see those kids now, that whole generation of players that I called their games, yeah, I'm feeling old enough, and after the bike ride and a little out of shape. So yeah, thank you. I'm feeling my age today.
Hey,
but it's great to see. That's really cool. I love seeing that. It's been really cool.
I certainly remember that group as well. That 96 Peterborough team that won the title and hosted the Memorial Cup was quite a time around the Liftlock City. You've seen a lot of OHL priority selections over the years. Well, of course, we went online in 2001, but before that, going to the rinks, whether it was Maple Leaf Gardens, up to Brampton, Barrie, Mississauga, you name it, I'm sure there's a lot of fond memories. And I know there's one specific one from Maple Leaf Gardens about a certain player out front and then in the rink as well that we'll talk about. But I've got to think it's a lot of fond memories seeing players come into and then graduate through the Ontario Hockey League.
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, I started going to the drafts, as you say, back, just I'd hop in the car with my dad or you, and we would go from Peterborough down to Maple Leaf Gardens or whatever the case may be when he was covering the draft, for Czechs TV and the Petes and all the local players that there was a lot of Peterborough kids that used to get drafted. There still is, but back then, I mean, there was a lot of kids that would go all over the place. So you guys would cover them, which was great. I remember one time in Belleville, I was going to school there and had a pretty late night the night before because I was already living there. And I think I went straight to the Yardman. That was a long one, I'll be honest with you. That was the year the Petes drafted Kevin Bullabrook with maybe the second overall pick, or pretty early anyway. And I remember that one and just seeing the faces. And unfortunately, sometimes you'd also see the disappointment, and that's one of the reasons why they went to the online draft, I think, too. I mean, technology changed, but those were long days for some kids that were hoping to hear their names, and sometimes, obviously, the parents, too, right? You're sitting there in the stands, and that was hard to watch at about 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we've seen what's going to the online and sort of advancing technology back in 2001, where we didn't even have some of the advancements we've had now. It's made for a great system. The story I'll get you to tell is from Maple Leaf Gardens, where I kind of teased it before, and you and I have talked about it a couple of times since, but where you ran into a certain player before the draft started, and it turned out to be, you might call it your star of the draft as the day went on.
I had no idea. Yeah. What year do you think that was? If we had to take a guess, like 99 or?
Yeah, it's got to be right around that 98, 99 rough area.
It's a bit of a blur now, been around there. And so it was outside Maple Leaf Gardens. The drafter was there that year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you and I traveled up together with my dad up to that one. Were we all together? So yes, you were kind of doing your thing, maybe, and my dad was doing his thing, and I was doing a separate piece. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, just start talking to this young guy. He's wearing a suit from Randy River, like a $149 suit for the draft, looking all good. And I thought, okay, I'm going to follow this kid, and his name was Preston Mitzi. And he's from Sault Ste. Marie. I'm like, okay, great. I'm just going to follow you a little bit with the camera. Were you shooting or were you the camera guy?
Yeah, I was shooting. You were the reporter. I was the shooter.
Yeah. So you're shooting it. We follow this guy around a little bit, and we didn't know. And why we didn't know. Nowadays, I think, let's be honest, with the insiders, with the way the agents talk, we kind of know what the top, 20 guys, what order they're going to go, whatever. But back then, Jeff Toohey was the GM of the Petes, and he didn't tell us a whole lot. He kept things pretty close to his vest, and there was more mystery back then as to what players were going to go where. So we had no idea. Well, he goes up to the podium, probably with Norm Bryant, longtime scout of the Petes, and we'd like to Peterborough Pete select from Sault Ste. Marie, Preston Mitzi, and we're like, oh my God, the kid we've been following for the last hour and a half just got selected by, our team, our hometown team that we're covering the draft for. So it couldn't have worked out any better. We got a great piece out of it, and Preston played most of his career there before. I think, did he end up in the Sioux, eventually going home or London or somewhere? But it was a great day. It was a great story, and you were part of it as well.
Yeah, it's kind of funny the way that played out, but indeed, moved on, spent a little time in the Sioux and Sarnia and Plymouth. 1997 is when that actually happened. So, wow, we're going back 25 years already. So, wow, time flies and things move along. Pete, What makes being around the OHL and junior hockey so special?
Well, I mean, obviously it's, I'm biased and everyone here may be watching a little biased. It's the best development league in hockey, if you ask me. So we're talking about the best of the best and the way they treat the players. It's just being around it is so much fun. And we just got a little taste of playoffs, just 2 games here with the sweep by Hamilton, but the feel of OHL playoff hockey, it's just a great vibe. I wish Peterborough could have went a little deeper, but doesn't mean I won't follow along whoever gets where they're going. But it's just an honor to be part of such a great league that's run. It's like a mini NHL, so everything's top notch, from the on ice product to the education and the equipment to everything, the coverage. I mean, again, we're biased, but I think what we do here, what you do in Sarnia, what the London people do on Rogers, wherever is top notch coverage for the league, and print side as well. And it's just it's a great league to be part of. And I welcome everyone that's getting drafted here today and wish them all the very best. You're part of some kind of special, very special now. So you're pretty lucky.
Before we let you go, I know we've talked about the players and the ring around junior hockey, but how much an OHL team, in your case, the Peterborough Petes, means to the community. I know you get a chance to chat with some of the longtime fans. Mrs. Wagger, a 60-year fan of the Peterborough Petes, and many others that, a Thursday night from September through the spring is like, that's circled on the calendar all the time, and what the hockey team and the social gathering and the community event that the Peterborough Petes and the OHL is within the communities.
It's huge. It's, not only the dollars that, the Petes or the Sarnia Sting or the Kingston Frontenacs bring into their communities, but I mean, it's a Thursday night that socially is huge. It's a night out. It's especially since we've lost the season, and this one was a weird year. I couldn't believe it, Terry. Like Thursday night at the Memorial Center, the Petes are down 3-0. And not really showing any signs of really, a comeback in this series. I thought, okay, we're going to go to the rink. There's going to be 1,800 fans that aren't really into the game. I'll be honest with you, the first period dragged on a long time, and I'm like, oh, they're going to lose the crowd a little bit. I couldn't believe how much they were into it, how many kids were at the game Thursday night, even though it was a late night and a school night, how much fun they were having. They were still entertained, and they were still gathered as a community, and a community our size, that's really, really important.
Pete, we appreciate the time. Next time I'm back in Peterborough, lunch is on you.
Yeah, well, I can hook you up, my friend. Yeah, but good to see you back here in Peterborough. Great job on the coverage, and we'll see you at East City Coffee Shop on your return.
I knew you'd get a plug over somewhere. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it.